Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we are so excited to have you again. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is in the news again, and this time around is still the issue of impeachment threat. Don't forget that some days ago, two minority leaders were being elected, and there was a lot of altercation during the time. We could see one man who stood up, one of the senators stood up and said that Akpabio was behind the appointment of those two guys and that they were totally against it. He threatened that he doesn't mind being, sanctioned, but that he wants to make it clear that Akpabio was the one who actually took up that responsibility from them and appointed those two people. And guess what? That has triggered another push for his impeachment. We're going to give you full details of that based on the sources, the info from different sources that we have received. Now, according to the news announcement of the duo of Senator Abba Moro and Osita Ngu, both of the People Democratic Party (PDP) and minority leader and minority whip, respectively, has created a rift among the senators. The ranks of senators opposed to the leadership of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio was said to have swelled last week following the announcement of the Senate minority leader and the minority whip. The announcement of the duo of Senator Bamoro and Ositangu, both of the People Democratic Party (PDP) as minority leaders and minority whip, respectively, had created a rift among the minority caucus last week, with a member of the Labour Party representing Anambra North Senator Tony Nwoye openly confronting the Senate President at the plenary. Nwoye declared that the opposition senators were not slaves of the Senate President, adding that they were all elected to represent a constituency the same way Akpabio was elected. Investigation by some sources indicated that the ranks of the senators opposed to Akpabio leadership immediately swelled following the altercation on the floor, with many said to have signed on to the impeachment plot. The source said that the emergence of the minority leaders was against the procedure and convention at the Senate, whereby the minority parties are to submit names of the adopted persons for leadership position. This is really serious, I must say. And one of the sources says what happened in this case is that the Senate President chose the leadership of the opposition parties due to the fear of an uprising in the chamber. The belief is that with firm control of the ruling party caucus and the opposition leadership, nobody would be able to unseat the Senate President, the source had stated. It was, however, gathered that the appointed minority leaders would largely remain lame dogs because they may not be able to rally the support of their members towards a clear direction. Sources indeed said that the ranks of those opposed to Akpabio as Senate President have continued to grow, despite the fact that the Senate President is in control of principal officers of both the All Progressive Congress (APC) and the PDP. The news platform was told that despite spirited effort by a section of PDP senators to insist on the emergence of a Northeast senator as minority leader, the signature drive by the forces that won Senator Abba Moro overwhelmed the bid. Some sources allege that an amount in the region of $2,000 might have been spent to secure each of the signature in favor of the preferred candidate. The Senate President, in announcing the two leadership positions, said that 41 opposition senators endorsed Abba Moro while 30 senators endorsed Osita Ngu. The emergence has not only divided the opposition leadership, it's also tearing down the unity that existed among lawmakers from the Southeast. The senator said, adding that following the experience from the 4th and 5th Senate, where the Southeast rotated the seat of Senate President among the 5 states, a decision has been taken that the Southeast senator would backstab the others. The source stated that the decision was responsible for the retention of Senator Ike Ekweremadu as the Deputy Senate President in the two-term of Senator David Mark's Senate presidency, 6th and 7th Senate, while he also retained the same position in the 8th Senate. A source in the know said that the emergence of Ngu has only thrown up the undue rivalry we used to witness among Southeast senators, especially what gave the Southeast a bad name in the 4th and the 5th Senate, when the position of Senate President went around the 5 states. Position of minority whip was meant for the Labour Party, and the party had 7 members in the Senate. Why throw open the slot when all that was needed was for the 7 senators of LP to decide among themselves and submit a name? Sources further added that the decision to rely on the signatures of senators rather than a joint decision of the opposition party and the senators was setting a dangerous precedent which may do the Senate more harm. Now that the reliance on signature, we understand that those opposed to the Senate president are also embarking on signature drive. A source further stated that the 4 positions, including majority leader, the deputy majority whip, and the deputy, as well as the post of minority leader, minority whip, and their deputies, are positions of the political party. The tradition is that the political parties involved will write to the Senate president through its caucus in the chambers, nominating those who will occupy the slot. By relying on the signature of senators to determine the candidates for the position, the Senate is redrafting the rules and convention. It was however learned that the Senate president is aware of the threat against his leadership and that he is relying on the ranking senators as to stabilize the chambers under his control. Besides, it was learned that the absence of a rallying senator from either the South Side or the Southeast would succeed Akpabio, who could succeed Akpabio, has to some extent muted the push for his ouster at that time. With Akpabio's emergence, the seat of the Senate president has practically been zoned to the South Side, but the amendment of the Senate rule book to indicate that only ranking senators can aspire to lead the chambers meant a dearth of ranking members from that zone. Only Senator Adams Oshomole, non-ranking senator from Edo State, attempted to contest the seat with Akpabio before news emerged that the Akwa Ibom lawmaker had been endorsed by the APC. Another factor said to be working in favor of Akpabio right now is the North-South divide in the appointment of Senate President. When former President Muhammadu Buhari led the country, the nation's number 3 position was retained by the North. The same logic was adopted by the presidency under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which zoned the slot to the South once he emerged as president. Sources close to the lawmakers, however, stated that the whole issue would depend on the sins of Akpabio, adding that if the sins continue to grow, the lawmaker might jettison the zoning arrangement and the North-South divide and then opt for a lawmaker from any of the zone that they believe could protect their interests. The sin uh, of Akpabio is increasing. That is what is really behind it.